Hey everybody, welcome back to Let's Talk Physical Media. I am your host, John, and this is the weekly show where we talk everything in the world of physical media and everything in the world of film. And it was actually a pretty slow news week in the world of physical media. The only really big announcements we got this week were from Shout and Scream Factory announcing their February 2025 lineup. This was rumored last week, but we finally got confirmation, and the big one is John Carpenter's Ghosts of Mars from 2001 is coming to 4K Blu-ray. Another John Carpenter movie coming to 4K Blu-ray. We've been getting a lot of these from the 90s and the early 2000s. We're just missing some of my favorites, like Assault on Precinct 13, In the Mouth of Madness. Like, those are the John Carpenter movies I would love to come to 4K Blu-ray. And Shout Factory actually released In the Mouth of Madness and Assault on Precinct 13, so I'm not too sure why we're getting Ghosts of Mars and, like, Vampires first. I feel like those are, like, lesser John Carpenter films, but I don't want to complain just because, hey, we're getting some John Carpenter films on 4K Blu-ray, and I've pretty much gotten all of them except for like Starman on 4K Blu-ray and Village of the Damned. Starman's stuck behind the Columbia Classics collection, and I'm hoping that gets its own solo 4K Blu-ray, or I'll have to pick that up sometime down the line. I actually think Volume 4 was on sale for like $89. I just didn't have the extra money to grab it, but still, I would really love Starman on 4K Blu-ray. I just have the Blu-ray right now. I do think that's actually one of John Carpenter's best, whereas Ghosts of Mars, you know, that's really in the bottom tier. I don't really love Ghosts of Mars. It has its moments. It's definitely not The Ward, but still, it's nothing compared to some of John Carpenter's 80s classics. And then the other movies coming from Shout and Scream Factory are Humanoids from the Deep. This is from 1980. That's on 4K Blu-ray. Galaxy of Terror from 1981. That's coming to 4K Blu-ray. Both of these movies I haven't seen. Galaxy of Terror, though, does have my interest. That does look like something I would like. Sick on 4K Blu-ray. I remember this came out in 2022. I didn't see this one. I know people liked it when it came out. It's dealing with the pandemic. I don't know why I didn't see this one. I should have. The First Slam Dunk on 4K. And then A Chinese Odyssey Part 1 and Part 2. This is from, I think it says 1995. So really, not the biggest month from Shout and Scream Factory for February 2025. You know, we were in the early part of the year at that point, so it does make sense. It looks like February is going to be a little bit of a slower month, although the other thing that's coming out in February that got its steelbook confirmation this week is from Warner Brothers, showing us the Constantine 4K steelbook. And if this is true, I don't love this. It looks like they decided to go with what Seven's 4K steelbook was rumored to be, with just a plain black exterior. If that's like a matte black, I think that could be cool. Maybe there's something going on with the finish on it. Maybe it's glossy, semi-glossy. Not too sure. The interior looks pretty cool, but very plain on the outside, and I'm curious why that is. I guess we'll find out more of that when it gets like officially announced. But definitely, it didn't blow me away. And if that 4K Blu-ray, the actual artwork on the 4K Blu-ray, if that's the real standard edition where the wings are kind of overlapping over the 4K Blu-ray logo, I would actually love that. And I'm hoping that that's the official 4K Blu-ray box art for Constantine, because I definitely like that more than the steelbook. But maybe once we get some more images of that steelbook, I'll learn to love it just a little bit more. But right now, not a huge fan of that 4K steelbook. But what do you guys think? Do you think the Constantine 4K steelbook is nice? Let me know in the comment section. And like I said, pretty slow news week. So the only other real big like kind of announcement is we kind of got to look at the Wicked 4K steelbook. You know, this is one thing that they do nowadays. The major studios, on the day the movie comes out, they like to announce the 4K steelbooks and the 4K release dates. So also with Beetlejuice. Unless it's like a certain type of movie. Like, we didn't get an announcement for Deadpool and Wolverine for quite some time before it finally came out on 4K Blu-ray. But we got to look at Wicked on 4K steelbook. We've seen what Gladiator 2's 4K is going to look like. And, you know, new releases, I kind of usually wait on these just because they come out at a very high price and you really don't get too much with it. And as we've seen, those are the stuff that always goes on sale. The major studios will always put their 4K Blu-rays on sale sometime around the holidays. So we could probably look forward to like getting these for a cheaper price around Memorial Day. And then we didn't get to talk about it last week because it just came and went so fast. And that's that Michael Mann's The Keep got announced and already pretty much sold out on 4K Blu-ray from Vinegar Syndrome. I don't know if it's the fastest Vinegar Syndrome ever sold out of something, but my God, they blew through it. They were reselling this, you know, with that beautiful slipcase on it on eBay for like already $200. The standard edition right now, I think you could still order it. It's about $35 on Amazon, but if you order through Vinegar Syndrome, I think it's the same price. I don't know if any are left at the current time. You have to check into that. But this was a huge deal last week, and it really created a lot of FOMO for me. I was like, do I get this? The problem with me is I'm not somebody who likes to buy movies that I don't necessarily love or I'm going to rewatch down the line. This just kind of felt like something for the collectors and for people who love the Keep. Like, I saw people online who've been waiting for this because it didn't even come to Blu-ray. They were really excited that this was coming to 4K Blu-ray just because they're getting a new physical release. but I don't remember loving The Keep. So before I buy it, I'm going to have to rewatch the movie because I do remember the movie being a mess, and it's never talked about when we talk about great Michael Mann movies. And also, Imprint is going to be releasing their own version of The Keep sometime next year. They announced it this past week just because of everybody talking about The Keep, and they're like, hey, you know, if you weren't able to get the Vinegar Syndrome one, sometime down the line, Imprint is going to be releasing it. And they're also working on a documentary, and the people working on the documentary for The Keep even said that they are going to be giving the documentary, or at least they'll be able to give it to people releasing this on physical media. So I would imagine, now this is just a guess, is that eventually that Keep documentary will end up on the Imprint 4K Blu-ray sometime next year. So that might actually be the better version sometime down the line. But either way, or if you got The Keep and you enjoy The Keep, let me know that in the comment section. And this isn't the only Michael Mann news we got this week also. Apparently, he did an interview with Collider, and he talked about The Insider and Last of the Mohicans coming to 4K Blu-ray. The Insider was a huge deal. I think this came out in 1999, stars Al Pacino and Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe gives a phenomenal... This is just one of those, like, low-level... This one actually doesn't really feel necessarily like a Michael Mann movie. This always felt like, to me, more of a Steven Soderbergh movie. Like, Michael Mann makes these big-looking action films, and The Insider was not that kind of movie. It's actually a very quiet movie, much more of a suspense thriller type of film. Very, very enjoyable. Two great performances in that movie, so that's one I would definitely love on 4K Blu-ray. But The Last of the Mohicans, starring Daniel Day-Lewis, that's the movie I really am looking forward to coming to 4K Blu-ray. So I hope these rumors are true. Michael Mann talked about wanting to do them. We still need Miami Vice on 4K Blu-ray. When is that coming? Miami Vice is one of those movies also that I feel like got forgotten. It's kind of getting a little bit more love now, but nothing like Michael Mann's two best films like Collateral or Heat, or even Thief. If you love Thief, you know that's a good movie too. I would love that on 4K Blu-ray. Maybe the Criterion Collection will give us that sometime down the line, because that's James Caan's best performance. It deserves a 4K Blu-ray. Not to mention that beautiful Sid score on there, and it just looks phenomenal. All of Michael Mann's movies do look phenomenal, but we've been very hit or miss with his movies on 4K Blu-ray, because Heat's not a great 4K Blu-ray, and Collateral, well, that's just a product of its time when it comes to digital cinematography, because it just does not look great. But again, early in the digital cameras, so they're just not that great. And that carried over to Miami Vice as well, where I think that actually looks a little bit better because it was a couple of years later. So I'm hoping Miami Vice comes to 4K Blu-ray just because I really like that movie. So maybe one of these days we'll get that on 4K Blu-ray as well. But we can look forward to The Insider and Last of the Mohicans, hopefully sometime in 2025. If not, I'm guessing 2026. And then the last bit of news, and I just saw this before I started recording, and it's funny because we talked about it on our top 5 Christmas movies episodes that I did over on Frank's Media and Reviews channel this past week. We were talking about the movie Just Friends. That doesn't have a Blu-ray release. Well, it looks like we're going to be getting Just Friends on Blu-ray, which is good because I think people are finally discovering this movie after all these years. I remember when that movie came out, I was surprised to find out how forgotten that movie was because I saw it so much when it first came out. Movie stars Ryan Reynolds, Anna Faris, Chris Klein, Amy Smart. Movie's absolutely hysterical. And it's a Christmas movie, so it's kind of unfortunate. I don't think it's going to be out in time for Christmas, but it's definitely one of those movies, one of those alternate Christmas movies you can watch. You know, movies like The Family Man or Lethal Weapon, where Christmas is going on, but it's not necessarily a major part of the movie. But still, it's a Christmas movie in my eyes. I'm really glad that that one's coming to Blu-ray. And guys, that was really it as far as the news goes this week. Let me know what you're looking forward to coming to Blu-ray or 4K Blu-ray in the comments section below. And while you guys are down there, don't forget to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, share this video if you could. And we also have channel memberships. So if you want to become a friend of the channel, a producer for the channel like Jed Eckert and John Doe Juggalo, you could do that. Or you can even become a channel director like Frank from Frank's Media and Reviews and Mr. Smelly Potato. But guys, if you got no money to throw away, don't you worry about it all. We just hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, get out in those streets, tell your friends about us, and then we'll be seeing you around.